Hello and welcome back to Driven Dave Florida Man Edition. And I'm here today with the Polestar 2. And we're going to kind of talk about a couple of things with this. I've had this car for a couple of days out here on a business trip and kind of fell into it by chance as a rental from Hertz and got really lucky with it because I wasn't supposed to have a Polestar. I was just supposed to have a full size, but they parked this in the wrong spot. So score. You know, I thought, why not? Let's check out the Polestar. This is one of those cars that I had kind of a hard time with initially. I reviewed it at the LA Auto Show, just kind of briefly sat in it and kind of looked around, poked around a little bit, and I just kind of went, I don't get it. Why would you buy this? It makes no sense. But now that I'm driving it, I get it now. I totally get it. This is a pretty nice car. I hate to like spoil the review early, but I enjoyed my time with it, and I'll tell you why coming up. We're going to do just kind of a basic review here. We're going to go over some of the main kind of features of the car, the ergonomics, the comfort, the technology. We're going to talk about range and performance and road manners and all of that stuff. Big shout out to if any of you watch Curious Cars and you've seen Bill, he always starts out his videos by saying, here I am in Sarasota, Florida. It is muggy and miserable and not fit for human consumption. It is muggy. Like, I just feel sticky. But I mean, it's really not that bad, truthfully, but I understand Bill a lot better now that I'm pretty close to his home base of Naples. But in any case, weather reports aside, it's only about 90 degrees and humid. But man, it's really pretty here. Just very green and blue skies. I'm really enjoying it, actually. So first thing I'd like to talk about with the Polestar 2 here, let's just kind of talk styling. It's a pretty substantial looking car, even though it's kind of small, but it sits up kind of high. I mean, it may look a little bit like a wagon or an SUV or whatever, but it is a car, and it is a small car. It's kind of stubby, but I think the front end of it is just beautiful, especially these lines here with the hood and the really beautiful headlights and this cool grille, the Polestar logo. Really, really neat. Polestar is actually Volvo, and I believe this car is made in China. I may be wrong about that, but let's take a look here. It says made in China. Yep, absolutely. Which will surprise a lot of you. And frankly, surprise me too. This is an older car. It's made in 2020. So maybe this is a 2021. I don't even know. And frankly, I don't know the specs on this. I can't tell. I don't know if it's like a all-wheel drive long range or whatever. I think this is the all-wheel drive long range. The 0 to 60 is like under 5 seconds as far as I can tell, real world. And I'll maybe put a clip of that in. As well, we've got this, what's actually kind of the premium white paint. You pay an extra like $1,200 for that. And you've got these really attractive 19-inch wheels. You can see this tire's pretty shredded. What is the... Oh yeah, it's a 245/45/19. Let's see when these were made. If you've never checked the DOT codes on your tires, take a look sometime. DOT, there it is, 2920. So that means the 29th week of 2020. So yeah, this is an older unit, surprisingly. It only has about 20,000 miles, 22,000 miles. I mean, it is a rental car, so take that as you will. So let's talk about some things that I really like about the car. First off, and I know it seems like a small matter, but I really like this kind of thigh extension here. That's something that you'll see in BMWs and a lot of other European cars. And I really like it. I'm just going to get in the car here where it's a little cooler. But yeah, this gives you a little bit more room for, kind of thigh support, leg support. If you're a taller guy or gal, you'll appreciate that, especially after riding in economy United for, whatever it was, 4 or 5 hours. It was really nice to get in here and have some room to stretch out. Leg room is pretty generous. Really no issues there. Plenty of headroom. I'm not crazy about this. I wish there was a little bit more room, like right in here. That would be nice, but it's not really a problem either. It's just something that I'd prefer. Seat adjustments are great. Really no issue there. Talking about comfort, the seats they're very nice. I like the headrest. I wish there was some movability kind of like this way, but that's okay. You're not going to have that in the Tesla either. And this car is kind of like the Polestar, like Tesla competitor, if you will. So that is certainly something to consider. Although it's not really a competitor, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as to why, kind of as we get towards the end. But, sorry, just losing stuff here. But anyway, the seats are pretty comfortable. They're spacious, they're roomy. I like that. As you can see, I'm a bigger guy. Still got plenty of headroom. I would like just like a more of a plush, cushiony seat bottom, but it's firm and supportive, so it's not like it's uncomfortable. It could just be more comfortable, if that makes sense. Driving this on the road, and we'll get it up on the road in a minute so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It feels a lot quieter than the Model 3. And I'm a Model 3 owner, for those of you that don't know. And if you're just joining us, please hit that subscribe button, by the way. But I have a 2022 Model 3 long range, and that car, it feels really noisy. And especially as the tires are getting older, I'm hearing those a lot more. This car just kind of feels a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit better put together. The build quality is very good, with the exception of this like little side panel. It tends to kind of creak and rattle. But the rest of the interior is really well put together. I'll try and show you a little bit. But yeah, this, I don't know what's up with this. I've kind of hit it a couple of times and it makes like a loud cracking noise. And that feels just kind of cheap. The interior materials are really quite nice. I mean, I don't love the way it feels. I wish these seats were leather. I think these are some sort of like recycled plastic or something. I feel like this is going to look terrible after 5 years. Same with this. You've got these wood, kind of ashy wood inlays. It's neat. It's very kind of Swedish and cool. But it's not my cup of tea. I don't like it. You've got a lot of piano black, which gets dust and fingerprints. I also don't like that. The steering wheel feels good, although the leather or whatever this is doesn't feel very premium to me. I like the little notch here. That's cool. I mean, it's a good overall layout. Very nice screen here. This screen is nice, although I wish it were bigger. Truthfully, you've got a little storage pocket here, storage pocket here. Same thing on the other side. Oh yeah, and there too. And then this is stupid. I hate the cup holder situation in this car. I like that you can extend this. That's cool. And then you've got another cup holder in here for your larger drinks, but then you lose your armrest. So, boo. I don't like that. And it would be nice if there was a cup holder here. But I don't know, just like a better use of space, maybe a cup holder here. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't quite work for me. You've got the cup holders back there, and I ended up kind of utilizing that. I'm the type of fellow that likes to have a cup of coffee and a glass of water at the same time. So, so this didn't work too well for me in that respect. I'm going to show you some B-roll that I took of the cargo area. There's a really nice little kind of divider. So if you want to put something like in the front and then have something behind it, or just make sure your thing doesn't like slam around in the back hatch, I think that's super cool. There's plenty of cargo room, and I think that space was used like very creatively and very nice. So we're going to talk about like just kind of like how the technology is utilized in this car. I do think there are a lot of really good features. This car is equipped with pilot assist, which is like, kind of an autopilot, lane keep, it's semi self-driving, not really self-driving. It works pretty well. Like, I would much rather have it than not have it. It's not quite as slick as autopilot in a Tesla, but it is very useful, especially on a long road trip. Any kind of highway drives, that's really terrific. And it lets you go hands off for quite a few seconds. I don't know how many, but I'll hopefully demonstrate that when we get it out on the road so you can check it out. Admittedly, I'm in my early 40s now, so I'm having a harder time with this tech, and I'm pretty intuitive generally, but I'm finding like this one just doesn't quite make sense to me. The Apple CarPlay is great. I like having maps and all of that stuff from my phone on here. I think that's really terrific. It also has integrated map software, but it's just kind of laggy, and you can see you press the home button, which I just found out about this morning. I just don't quite understand how everything works, if that makes sense. I didn't even notice this parking thing. That's kind of cool. Timers, settings. Oh, that's cool. And I'm sure if I had, let's turn that on. I'm sure if I had like access to the phone app, the technology would be even better for this. But again, I don't have, what just happened? Turn on. I want the AC. Come on. Pull gear. Okay. Come on, man. Climb it. You see what I'm talking about? What is going on here? Weird. What did I do? Sorry. And see, this is my, no heated seat, no heated steering wheel. I'm in Florida. Stop that. So yeah, that's kind of funny. I'm an owner, I guess. That's funny. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's pretty funny. So in any case, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. The infotainment system is just kind of a little, I don't know. It's not, to me, it's not intuitive. And I just don't get it. And I think it takes a long time to do stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay. I do like the G meter. I think that's really neat. That's a nice thing. You see I have it dialed up to firm. I like that you can turn off ESC in sport mode. I guess the car's not technically on. So yeah, now that it's on, let's put it back in park. Yeah, there we go. One pedal drive I've got on standard, which is the most aggressive. Creep is on. Interesting. I thought I had that off. Yeah, I like it off. I like full one pedal drive. I think that's really a nice way to do it. And it does have auto hold. Shout out to you, Morty. That is the way to go. You see you've got all of this stuff, the roadside information. That's kind of neat. You can see I've got a charge. It's a rental car, so dude, I'm going 100. I had free charging at the hotel, so it's like drive it like you stole it. Free gas. I'm gonna have to charge up before I return the car, so I'll probably have to hit up like a charge point or Electrify America. So I've never actually used an Electrify America fast charger, so I'll be curious to kind of see how that goes. Although I'm not looking forward to it. Car stats. Let's take a look. No warnings. Okay. Fine. And then you've got all this other gobbledygook here. Again, it's fine. It's whatever. The cameras, I think it's kind of neat to have that 360 thing. I do like that. Parts of that are somewhat intuitive, which is neat. But I'll show you where I kind of like where I really don't like is just how laggy the maps are. So let's just search for a charging station. So we've got a very fast charger, and let's try just going there. I mean, I'm not gonna go there, but we'll pretend like we are. So let's go to this EVgo, saying 20 minutes. And let's just kind of see how this nav works. Now this is kind of cool where you've got the maps in the middle here, and it took me a few days to, wow, look at that charger. Tell me you're from Florida without telling me you're from Florida. No offense, all my Florida friends. It's all love, you know. But that's funny right there. I gotta be honest. As you can see, I'm already not following the instructions here. But I just kind of want to show you a little bit like the acceleration and the interior noise and vibration and all of that stuff. So there's a good bit of road noise that I'm hearing from the tires. Very little wind noise. And I was watching a video by Jeebs. Shout out to Jeebs. He kind of compared this with the Model 3. And his videos are always really entertaining. Go check him out. GJEEBS. Jeebs. But he tested the decibel level of this car versus the Model 3. And apparently at 70 miles per hour, they're almost the same. Which I was really shocked, because I thought that this car was like way more kind of civilized and quiet and all of that stuff. But I guess I was wrong. But he felt the same way. Like he felt that this was like better built on the inside, which is kind of interesting. So as you can see, we're just kind of on this slow route, talking about around town kind of road manners and feel. You know, it's really easy to drive. The visibility, this windshield, and I don't know if you can tell the perspective from here, but it's kind of small and it's kind of it's kind of low. So if you sit up higher like I do, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see like traffic lights and signs that are like up here, you know, if that makes sense. It's not a huge complaint, but it's just kind of it's just how it is, you know what I mean? Like it's a thing, so I thought you should know. And these side mirrors are pretty effective. I do wish that in putting on, like, I'm gonna put on my blinker, and as you can see, we get no kind of side view camera. And in a car with this much tech, I find that surprising. Like, especially with that cool little 360 view out of the, you know, for the parking cameras and all of that stuff, you would really kind of expect, you know, some sort of a side view camera when changing lanes. But it does have blind spot monitoring, and it does have a lot of like the kind of Volvo Swedish, you know, little kind of safety stuff. Now, let's just talk quick acceleration. I'm just gonna nail it. And it's quick, man. And again, I think this is the dual motor. That's what it feels like. I mean, it moves. Like there's nothing subtle about the acceleration in this car. It absolutely rips. And so speed is no issue. Like no issue. So that's kind of fun. We're going to get up kind of to some highway speeds hopefully in a minute here, so you can kind of see what that's all about. Again, I mentioned the pilot assist, and that's in the adaptive cruise. That does not come standard, as I understand. Like the pilot package is an extra little bit of money, you know, which is kind of surprising since this is aimed kind of directly at Model 3. That, you know, and that has autopilot standard, at least basic auto steer, which is, you know, like I said, even better than pilot assist. So I'm surprised about that. Yeah, we're just gonna go. All right, let's hit it. Wow. Regenerative braking works really well. It's easy to modulate. It's intuitive. It feels similar to Model 3, Model Y. A little bit different. Obviously, it's a different car, so that's a thing. As you can see here, we're leaving the city of Sarasota. You can hear kind of the suspension noise, the tire noise hitting those railroad tracks. But you know, I think where this car really excels is just as like a highway cruiser. I like how it feels just being on the freeway in this car. You can eat up some long distances pretty easily. I also like kind of the switch gear that's in it. You know, it's pretty intuitive switch gear. The steering wheel I wish had some like clearer labels, because you kind of just have to press the buttons to figure out what everything does. Like, I really don't know how I got this map to appear, but eventually I got it to appear. And I'm glad I did. So here's what I'm talking about. I want to change lanes. There's a car coming up. I'm getting that blind spot monitoring, and I'm going to miss my turn because of this guy. Great. All right, similar ETA, that's fine. And I know this road. This is cool. This will do for what we need. I'm going to go ahead and set the cruise. So all you do is you hit this little center button and then just hit the plus, and that's going to engage adaptive cruise. We're going to increase speed, and then I hit the right wheel, and that turns on pilot assist. So I'll show you hands off here, just kind of how that works. Increase the speed by another 5. Hold steering wheel, it says. So I just kind of give it a little wiggle. It's kind of hard to tell like what it really wants in terms of like hold the steering wheel. Because now I'm there we go. You know, it's like with Tesla, you kind of have to just, you know, give it a little yank. With this car, I've tried that. I've tried kind of grasping it. I just can't quite tell what it wants. And that would be something that, okay. So you see, it's like 5 to 10 seconds of hands-free. And I don't trust the system the same way that I trust autopilot. It's not as good. This being an older car, you know, perhaps the newer ones are a little bit better. If that's the case, comment down below. I really have nothing to compare it to. This is really the first Polestar I've driven, other than the Polestar 1 that Kyle from Out of Spec let me drive. But that car was just kind of a totally different animal. And so this is, you know, this is a little bit more mainstream, and, you know, if you own a Polestar, this is probably the Polestar you own kind of deal. I think, like, you know, just my overall impressions driving it, you know, as comparing it with my Model 3, it's more like, you know, if I could kind of sum up my thoughts on the car, is that, like, the power is excellent. It's really, like, similar to what I feel in my Model 3. I think my Model 3 feels a little faster than this, but not by much. I think the way it delivers the power, I think this car delivers the power more violently, like from 0. But I feel like my Model 3 kind of pushes harder, deeper, if that makes sense, you know. But this one like rips real hard up front and then kind of dies down, you know. So I mean, that just it's hard for you to really tell, honestly. I'll put like a little piece of trash up here so you can see. Okay, well that speed didn't do it. How about this one? Huh. Felt like it ripped harder before. Anyway, oh, my bottle of water went flying. But still, you can see the force, and you can hear the tires really kind of eating. And it's definitely pretty violent. No doubt about it. You're not going to be hurting for speed if you own one of these. And of course, like once you get used to the speed, you want more. But that's the case with any car. When I got my 2006 Corvette, I was like, man, this is the fastest car I've ever driven. I'm going to love this always. And I did. But after a while, I was like, man, I wish I had the Z06. And I'm sure if I had the Z06, I'd be like, oh, I wish I had the ZR1. So there's always kind of that, if you're a speed junkie like me, there's always like, it'd be great to have another 100 horse or whatever. I think this one, if it's the long range dual motor, then it's going to have about 420 horse. I think the single motor has like 320, something like that, maybe 289. It's still not slow by any means. And it's pretty nuts, like with all the new EVs the last couple of years, numbers like 400 horsepower have just become normal. Like that's just kind of standard now. Or even, 300 is standard, or on the low end. And like when I was in high school, 300 horsepower was like, you had a supercar. Well, especially at the 400 level. But now you can have 5, 6, 7, 800, 1,000. It gets pretty crazy. Like out of spec Dave's Lucid Air GT that I drove has over 800 horsepower. It's insane. And then I'm sure you'd want the 1,000 horse after a while. I just love it. So let's talk about like the things that are mainly like not good about this car. And they're really not too many. I have to say, like it is a very well built car. It's put together well. It drives well. It feels, to finish my thought from earlier, sorry. It feels just kind of like a normal car. And if you're looking for like a normal car to drive, but that it also has this like really powerful EV power plant, and is fairly efficient on the EV side, like this is a good car for you, especially if you hate Elon Musk and you're really not into the whole Tesla thing, which like I totally get. It's not for everybody. This would be a good EV for somebody who's a little more conventional. So, and I know a lot of people that feel that way. I've talked to a lot of people that are like, well, I'd love to buy a Tesla, but I just don't like Elon. It's okay, that's fine. You might consider one of these. It's certainly an option, but you're going to pay for it, my friends. You are going to pay. As of the time of filming this, and we're looking at like late June 2023, as far as I know, this car does not qualify for the EV tax credit, the federal rebate. So bummer about that. Yeah, you might be able to qualify for some state rebates, which if you can, good for you. Go for it. I think that could be make this a little bit more compelling. I know California has some pretty spicy rebates at the moment, which is really nice if you're buying a new car. But when you compare it with like Model 3, which starts at around $39,000, this car starts at around $50,000. So you're going to be paying, $10,000-$11,000 more than a Model 3 right off the bat. And then if you want to like equip this car to compete with Model 3, you're looking at even more. And if you get the performance spec, I believe you're looking at north of $65,000 for all the options. And that, that's where you kind of go like, well, is it really that much better? So, I mean, I'm not sure what the fate of this car is really going to be. I know Polestar and Volvo have announced that they're going to adopt the NACS charge port. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's the North American Charging Standard, which basically just means the Tesla plug, which is really surprising since like when Elon released that, he released it with an open patent, so you can use it. And yet all these manufacturers went with CCS for some reason. And I don't understand it. But everyone's going NACS, it looks like. I mean, CCS is dead. That's what everyone's saying. That's what Kyle said. That's what Jeeves has said. Really, like all the big EV guys have said. Like, CCS days are numbered. Let's check out, speaking of CCS, I know I said we weren't going to drive in here, but, well, we made it. So let's see. Looks like we're at a Wawa, and I'm new to the whole Wawa thing. But here's an EV Go, which I've never used. And let's just kind of see what we're looking at here. First of all, are they even up and running? This one, that appears to be working. And that appears to be working. So that's cool. I'm not sure what's going on over there. Looks like they may have some Chatamo. Let's take a look, friends. Why not? We might as well cover this part. Because, you know, people like to talk about range. And this car claims like 250 on a full charge. At least that's what it says now. Oh, yeah, look. Chatamo. And CCS. So just so you know, here's what CCS looks like. And here's what Chatamo looks like. Chatamo's dead. I'm really shocked to even see it here. But yeah, you got Chatamo here. You've got Chatamo here and CCS. Okay. And I'm not sure what the speeds on these units are. Wow. So as far as I can tell, all of these are working. So it looks like you got Delta units here and Signet units here. Kyle has talked about the Signet surge and problems with that. I don't know if that's been fixed and addressed. I sure hope so at this point. But I would say like this is I'd say this is a pretty nice charging setup, being right here at the Wawa. Wawa? I don't know. So I like that. There's also a Walmart right next door, so you know you can get everything. You can charge your EV and then go buy some fishing tackle and you know, and some motor oil and groceries. And buy some new Florida shorts. I like that. That's great. And oh, and there's a place to eat over there. Can't tell what it is. Oh, Taco Bell. Nothing but the best. So again, you're looking at $50,000 to $65,000 for one of these bad boys. The tech, I don't think is very good. Truthfully, I think the driving manners are very good. The physical controls are overall very good. Storage is very good. Comfort is good. Ergonomics are good. But like compared to a Model 3, I mean, for like an everyday like buzz around town car and everything, I prefer my Tesla over this. If I were doing a lot of road trips, you know, then I think I might prefer this, even though it doesn't, you know, even though you'd have to charge here. But just in terms of like as it drives, I like it for the road trips. I also like, I think this is a neat little thing. I don't really like this button for parking. That kind of stinks. And then you've got a volume control here, and you can play and pause. That's come in handy a couple of times. You got your emergency flashers. And I think this is wireless charging here. I haven't tried it out. But again, I just don't think the tech is executed like really, really well in this car. And I think it's kind of pricey. So for the money, I can't see myself recommending it. If it were the same price as the Tesla, then I would say, you know what? It really comes down to preference. But there's no competition in terms of price. So at this point, it's really not a matter of preference. It's like, I mean, it is preference, but it's like, you really need to want this car. Because you're going to pay for it. You know, it's just like you're way into Polestars, and that's why you bought it. And again, I respect that. That's certainly a choice. I can't see spending the extra money over a Tesla, especially with all the rebates. I mean, if you can get a Model 3 in California for basically 25 grand, and you have to spend 50 to get this, no way. Right? So I think we can all agree on that for the most part. But comment down below. Let me know what you think. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I've enjoyed driving this car. I think it's been a really good rental. Thank you to Hertz. I mean, this is not a sponsored video by any means, but thank you for having such a nice selection of cars, especially in the EV space. I thought I was going to be in a Camry, so it was really nice to end up in this car. And the service I received at Tampa at the airport was great. And the car is it's really come in clutch on this trip. I've had a nice time in it. I've used it as a practice studio, sitting in the back seat playing my trumpet. That's been good. No issues with range, free charging at the hotel. So life is good. Also, if you happen to be in Sarasota, the Hampton Inn over by the airport, really good hotel. I recommend that too. They have one level 2 spot, and then they have 2 Tesla plugs, although one of them's broken. But still, like, nice to have that free charging. I really appreciate it. It kind of alleviates some of the cost of the trip. That's really nice. There was one thing that I forgot to cover, and that's the stereo in this car. This one has the upgraded Harman Kardon stereo, which I really expected to like. And you know, for the record, those of you that don't know me, I am a classical musician, and I like to think I have a pretty good ear. I don't really like this sound system. It's not that good, really. You know, and this is the upgraded Harman Kardon. It sounds okay, but I just think, like, sound systems in cars, like, the bar has really been raised at this point, and if you're paying extra for this system, I don't see it. It's not that good. The bass is not, I don't know, it's not deep, it's not rich, it's just kind of, you know, it's whatever. I can really hear each individual speaker, and in a better system, I kind of can't tell where the speakers are, you know, if that makes sense. Like in my Tesla, I feel very immersed in sound. I don't know where it's coming from. And in this car, it's like, oh, I hear that center channel and it just sounds like, ah! So, not loving it. Maybe they got better in the newer models, but this one, I don't recommend it. It's not great. Okay, so I hope that answers everyone's questions. I may insert another clip if I forgot something, but I think that just about covers it. I really thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel by subscribing, by liking, by commenting. All of that stuff really helps. And yeah, hopefully we'll have another Polestar video in the future. I would really like to drive one of these again and see how they progress. Because this has been a lot of fun. So in any case, my friends, until next time, stay driven. Bye.
Perfect.